Welcome everyone, one and all, to my reaction to Season 3, Episode 5 of Heartstopper Winter. Now, last time, obviously, we had my favorite episode of the entire show. It was so well done, so beautifully executed. It was a wonderful story to choose to tell on television, and I really bloody appreciate it. So yeah, big ups to Episode 4, but getting into Episode 5, obviously, we did end off with Charlie and Nick reuniting, which was really bloody sweet. But I was told by someone in the comments that they see Episode 5 as kind of like a continuation of Episode 4, and it feels almost like a two-parter, so I'm expecting it to feel very much like we're just continuing the journey that we started last episode. So yeah, very excited to get into it and see how everything plays out, especially because it seems as though there is a Christmas element, which I love Christmas episodes, so fingers crossed we don't skip away from Christmas too quick. But yeah, very excited to get into it and see how everything plays out. So without further ado, let's go. Oh, starting with Tori. Intriguing. We haven't had enough Tori, so I do hope that we get to see a little journey for her. Oh, my darling, stop. My little heart can't take this.
Are you worried about today?
What's today?
No, I just...
Back to school?
Thinking about what presents I'm gonna get.
Oh. Oh, like Christmas dinner and that?
I hope I get good mental health.
I hope I get a mum who can regulate her emotions.
Yikes, fair.
I hope Dad remembers
Jesus.
to properly season the turkey.
That's the biggest problem of all.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Intriguing things brought up there. They were mentioning like extended family, like grandparents and that, so I'm thinking, okay, maybe they're having like a lot of people over. That's the concern. That's why she's asking if he's going to be okay today, because I don't know what they've told their family. I suppose every family's different and it's up to Charlie, so we'll see how that goes. I would assume they haven't explained what's been going on with him, just because I just feel like with Charlie, he probably wouldn't want them to know, as we've got to know him, you know? We'll see, but yeah, it's like it's a tough conversation, but it's nice that they're both just being open about it, you know? Like, I wish that we both had good mental health. I wish I got a soul. It's like, it's fucking gut-wrenching, and it's like, fuck. But it's nice to see people joke about these things, because at least they're comfortable talking to each other about it. I just hope that with her seeing what Charlie has been through and hoping that Charlie went to her about it and was able to feel comfortable enough to discuss things with him, I hope that she feels comfortable enough to discuss her issues with him. She probably doesn't feel like she's able to do it right now because he's got his own issues going on, which, like, fair. Okay, I get that, but if he does get to like a much better place and everything, I hope that she does explain things. They can have a little talk, maybe try and get to the root problem of some of her issues as well, you know, because she deserves to be happy, bless her.
Are you two getting dressed?
Yeah, in a minute.
Okay, well, don't take too long because everyone will be arriving soon.
God, she is stressed.
She's always grumpy when Grandma and Grandad are coming round.
Oof.
And yet she still invites them every Christmas.
So it seems as though no one really gets on with them. Who's Henry? Is that his new, like, has he got a new dog? Is that what you're telling me?
Also, happy Christmas, I love you.
Ah, fucking cuties, stop. But yeah, is that Nick's dog? You get a little pug, bless.
If it gets too much, there's a little guy here who needs hugs.
Oh, bless, that's nice. At least he knows that there's that, like, way out.
But actually that applies to me as well, so.
Yeah, it's nice to know that Charlie's got, like, an escape route, if needed.
I thought you were getting all that mess sorted out.
Victoria, why did you cut all your hair off? Let's get you a drink. Hey, Mum.
Oh, Christ, it's already begun. Jesus Christ. Okay, good luck today, you two. I love when you see family just like, right, time to deal with the rest of them.
Everything okay?
Yeah, everything's fine.
Okay, good. Come sit down. Yeah.
Bless. Oh, he's gonna have to sit at the dinner table. I assume the grandparents are about to say something.
How long you been going out?
8 months?
Oh, wow. What about you, Tori? Any lovely men in your life?
Assuming men.
Straight boys are the absolute worst. Let's hope this one turns out better.
He might not end up being straight.
You're so right.
Nice.
Charlie, when did you realise you were gay?
Tori's face.
I'm fine.
We're fine.
Oh,
Okay.
bless. She means well. It's just one of those things, isn't it? It's like, please stop asking me if I'm fine, because
Can't I just try and have a normal...
I get it. Oh, you're fucking back. Oh, God. I want to talk about the lovely interaction we just saw before we deal with this fucking twat. But yeah, it does suck. It's one of those things where it's just part of the journey. They're all going to have to get used to these kind of situations and how best to navigate them. His mum needs to understand that being a, like, helicopter, being over him, watching everything he's doing, making sure he's okay, is only going to frustrate him more. If he wants to be left alone and have some peace and try and get on as best as he can and everything, leave him to it. Just let him have that, like, freedom, and not in front of everyone when he's already feeling uncomfortable, make him then stand out even more. So I do get that, and equally, I think that Tori was just trying to help as well, just backing up what his mum was doing to try and make Charlie feel better. It's not this, like, purely negative thing. She is just worried. But yeah, it's understandable why Charlie would, like, snap. It makes complete sense, but like I said, it's just part of the journey, unfortunately.
You know Dad's not coming.
Maybe he will, maybe he won't.
Oof.
Since your boyfriend became mentally deranged, you've been acting like you're the savior of the earth.
Okay, David.
He stops eating, you have to be the hero who saves the day.
Can you just shut the fuck up?
Nice. Actually, like, fuck off, David. Like, actually fuck off. You're such an annoying twat.
Oh, you look handsome.
Now come and use those big, strong muscles to help me move the table.
Aww, that was beautiful language to be using. I love you.
Come on.
Their grandmother's a beast, I was about to say, which then I realized came across badly. She's a beautiful human, I mean. But yeah, let me have a quick look at that text message thing. I don't want to miss that. What they were saying. Oh, I missed that before. I thought that they just didn't show us the he's cute, I can't cope, you think I'm cute. Bless. Tara coming out of Elf being the best Christmas film. It is just a fact. Gonna be real, it is just a fact.
You're gonna do wonderful things and make us all so proud.
Ha ha ha. Bloody hell, Tara, I'm starting to really understand it. Everyone's always bringing it up. Oh. Oh, not the biting of the lip and looking back. Intriguing. She definitely had something happen there. Huh. See where that goes.
Enjoying the view?
What if I was?
Some might say you fancy me.
What if I do?
I would fucking hope so at this point. Oh. Intriguing.
Sorry.
It's fine.
Discuss.
Should we go for a walk?
Yeah.
We should probably discuss what happened there, but if Elle's not ready, then we can discuss later.
It's a relief you could come back for Christmas, isn't it?
Oh,
Can't imagine
no.
what Christmas would be like in a place like that. You just hear horror stories, don't you?
Yeah, but it's
White
best not to
walls,
demonize a place like that.
jackets, all that.
Did you meet anyone, like, really crazy in there?
Oh, this is fascinating. I didn't think about stuff like this.
I'm sorry, Charlie. Try to ignore.
Oh, that was quite tough. Oh, that was quite tough. I do not enjoy what she is about to come out with because I heard the start of her sentence and I just read the caption saying try to ignore. Not the best. It's not try to ignore. It's go in there as his mother and correct them and ask them to be kinder with their language. But moving on, it sucks because I think it depends on your background. Definitely, it depends on how you have been raised, the things you have been through and everything. But the demonization of, like, mental health practices, mental health institutions, it really fucking sucks because people do really see them as, like, the worst of the worst places. Like, you get sent there when you're broken, you get sent there when you're not normal, you get sent there when you're crazy. All of this language that is just so disgusting and so, like, dehumanizing. It really does suck because it does lead to people having these really false pretenses. I mean, he saw it as like white walls, straitjackets, which is unfortunately another thing that's been shown in media a lot. I think the media can be a very helpful tool, but also a very damaging one, depending on how it is used. And unfortunately, when you go into like stereotypical things and stereotypical processes and make a piece of media without using like accurate terminology and an accurate setting, it can be really damaging. And so it's not surprising that someone who has not had personal experience or seen accurate representation of it to see it as simply straitjacket place, white walls, cold, disgusting, because that's what I was talking about when we were watching episode 4 and the fact that that is what you typically do see in media. You rarely get the representation which we did last episode where it was very warm, very welcoming, very much a place focused on healing rather than just locking up crazy people, you know? And it does really suck, but hopefully that is something that will change in time as people start to educate themselves better. And also, as media evolves, we would hopefully get more good representation like we have in episode 4. But yeah, really fucking sucks. And just to go back to what I was saying before about his mum and what she's about to say here, you really, like, you need to focus on the fact that this isn't just a, oh, get over it and ignore it. This is a, come on, try and do something to help him in this situation, because right now he is obviously struggling and it's not okay, the things they are saying.
I'm just aware that today's been a very difficult day for you, Charlie. You only managed half your dinner, and the dietitian said that that's...
You're not helping.
Huh.
You're making me feel worse.
Fine,
yeah.
well, I'm sorry I even tried.
Ooh, the I'm sorry I've even tried. Okay, my darling, you've got some things you need to work out.
Please don't.
Oh, come with her. Like, take her with you, I mean. Oh.
Can't you at least spend Christmas with me?
Oh, Tori.
Because he treats me as something other than mentally ill.
But she doesn't either.
I do too.
Yeah.
I'll see you later.
I don't want to get too down on Charlie for that, because, like, I do understand that he's obviously struggling and wants to get away from the situation. It does suck because Tori's kind of been grouped into this family bubble, and the family bubble is the thing that he's trying to escape right now. So, like, I do get it. But from her perspective, my God, she's got no one else, you know? And now she's just been left on her own, and Charlie's going to go to Nick's and everything and probably have a good time seeing him and that, and she's just been left here. But it is that other thing as well, where you can't put all of your eggs in one basket, in the sense of you can't solely rely on one person. So I think that the next step when it comes to, like, this family and everything is to help Tori and to try and get her better with her mental health, so that she can reach out and maybe find other people that she can connect with and form other bonds, because there will be this constant issue of not having anyone but Charlie. And I'm not saying that as in a sense of like, oh, you shouldn't be feeling the way you are right now, Tori, because she does have a right to be upset that he's leaving again and going to spend more time with Nick when she needs him today, you know? But she definitely does need to branch out a little bit, bless her. It's just not so simple when it's like mental health based, you know? So hopefully we can get her to a much better place. But yeah, going back to what his mum was saying though, my darling, you got some work that you need to do. You're worried, I get it, but looking at the meal plan and saying you only did this today, that is a concern, is problematic, because he managed half of his meal. That is a good plus. Like, don't frame it as if that was a negative. Don't frame it that in this such stressful setting he still managed to have half his meal. Like, pop the fuck off, you know? So I think that when you look at big situations like this, where they're going to be more anxious, more stressful, you have to have some leeway with stuff like this. You can't just immediately think this is just like any other normal day. It's any other day and he's just not had enough food. Like, no, that's not what this is. This is an extremely unique situation of like the one day a year that they're all round, and it's causing him a lot of stress and anxiety. Thereby, of course, he's not going to be performing as well as if it was just you four at the dinner table. So she needs to take that into account. She needs to not let her worry transfer to him, because that's then bringing him down even more. And the immediate explosion of, oh, I'll just stop trying then, that comes from a place of insecurity within yourself, and she really needs to work on that, because that's not helpful for anyone. It's like they were saying earlier, she does not have very good emotional regulation, because that was an explosion out of nothing, and it's not helpful for anyone, including herself and her relationship with Charlie. So we got quite a few things to work on with his mum, but hopefully we'll get there in time.
I had an argument with my mum.
If David walks around the corner, I will actually punch my monitor, because it's the closest I can get to punching his face. Okay. Okay. I had like a sudden urge of anger thinking it was him, and then it's like, I'm trying to put it back down. Turn away? Is that what you think?
Turn around when I change.
Oh, do you think...
Yeah.
Do you think scars? Is that why?
Okay.
Oh my god, it's weird to see him in such a Nick outfit. Like, my brain just can't cope with that.
You look adorable.
I look ridiculous.
Ridiculously adorable.
I just want to have a nice day.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that then.
No. Oh my god. You two have been on it this season. They haven't just been like kisses here and there. They've been full on makeouts. No.
That's the deal.
Look at this. It's like such a positive experience while eating. It's not filled with anxiety and stress and everything. It's like, oh, I wish his mum would understand that, you know? Absolutely epic episode. Oh, beautiful. My girl. Spaceman. Oh, I fucking love Donna.
You know you got a real family who actually want to hang out with you.
Don't know about that.
Merry Christmas.
Why did David look a little bit scared? She got him last season.
And I think Mum might be willing to apologise. As wild as that sounds.
Oh my god.
I hate Christmas.
You don't.
I hate this one.
Mm,
I worry about you all the time.
I know.
We just want to be there for you. You have to let us.
And
Nice.
not just say that you're fine when you're not.
That's unfortunately a too common thing.
Tao,
I don't want to do anything unless you also want to do things. I think about it, like, all the time. A respectful amount of time that one thinks about one's girlfriend in that way. I'm just
I was gonna say that was coming across a little bit.
I don't really think about you being trans, if that makes it easier.
I know, but I am trans.
Yeah, I was about to say.
It's a big part of me.
Yeah, sorry, I want to pause here only because we haven't actually like discussed the stuff before leading into this, so we're like piling up too much. Really nice conversation between Nick, Charlie, and Tori there. Really nice to have those three together, having a moment where it's like, look, just be honest with us. Just be open, be real when things are hard. Like, don't just say it. You're not a burden. Just talk to us and we'll be there for you, you know? It's one of those things where it can be so easy to get frustrated at the person because it's like, just tell me, but it is understandable. We all do it. You know, it's one of those human things where you just feel like you are a burden, that you are a problem for someone else. You don't want your negativity to then transfer to them because that's not fair. But like, that's not what it is. If someone loves you, they're willing to listen and they won't see it as negativity going on to them. They'll see it as, oh, you're struggling. I want to make you feel better because I don't want you to struggle. And that is not something to be ashamed of. That is not something to back away from. That is something beautiful. And it should be something that is an open door that goes both ways, you know? So just let them in, Charlie. Let them be there for you. I hope that in time we will get there. But yeah, this conversation with Tao and Elle is really important. And again, it leads into what we were discussing about like the mental health stuff last episode. It's like accurate representation is very important. And so even though we are seeing such a positive relationship here where he does say like, I don't think about you being trans and everything, but it's like, I am trans and it will make things different than they typically are. And we should probably talk about that, you know? It does suck that a conversation does need to happen. You would hope that it would one day in the future become a part of everyone's education and all of the different types of bodies that exist in the world, you know? But alas, we only really speak about two certain kinds and one combination. So yeah, this is a really important talk and I'm really glad that they're going into this area because this season does overall seem a lot more mature than previous ones, which is not a knock at the other ones at all. We are seeing them grow up, thereby it would suddenly start to get more mature. Just how it is, so I really enjoy it.
I never imagined finding a boyfriend and feeling so safe with him that I'd even think about like taking my clothes off in front of him.
Oh, I'm sorry that you'd never even thought about that.
I'm sorry.
No need to apologize.
Sorry, there's no pressure.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I made you feel like that.
It's okay.
Don't you apologize either. Like, neither of you need to apologize in this situation. It's one of those like learning curves where you're now both understanding, and it probably is going to require constant clear communication from the two of you of what is comfortable and what is not, and then slowly you'll get to a place where you both just meld into one and you know exactly where you're going each time, you know?
I think that's a weird thing to say to a child.
It's going to be a journey. It's going to be a different journey than what is typically taught and what people typically know, you know? But that doesn't make it any less beautiful. Just going to take some time, bless you both.
I love everything about you. And whatever you want to do or not do, it's okay. I still want to be with you.
Bless. That would really help as well, because you would think, is this the thing that's going to make this person leave me? You know, so really good job there, Tal. Good reassurance. A lot of love.
I'll walk you home. We can talk a bit more about what you're comfortable with.
Okay.
Okay. That's crazy. I literally went to like a fireworks night yesterday. Hey.
How is my tiny boy?
Oh, he's missed you.
Oh, I missed you.
I love how he said my tiny boy. He's already claimed him.
Charlie!
Yeah. I didn't realize that they hadn't seen him. Oh, bless. Ah!
It's gonna come up through your nose. Just like that. And now it's coming out your mouth. How are you?
I'm alright.
Oh, my darling. I think we Oh, that was too real. I didn't like that. That for I don't know. I think we have all had that same queer experience of the crush going with someone else and the pain that follows. I didn't like that. I'm all for representation, but don't represent my pain.
You don't need to rush to come out as anything. Have fun with it. Yeah. Everyone have fun.
Yeah. Bless. They seem a lot lighter, you know? Hey. Oh, I'd be getting the ick. No, they're having so much fun together, bless them.
I'm gonna get a drink.
Probably a bit overwhelming. Bless. Towel. Okay.
I am. But it's a big deal. I mean, what if he touches me and I just freak out?
You trust him, and he loves you, and if anything goes wrong, I'll be here for you.
Aww. Exactly. That's like the main takeaway. It's like, what if something happens and I freak out and everything? It's like, then you freak out. You know, it's not the end of the world. This isn't it's one of those things where, you know, when you get like really anxious and you think, oh my God, if this happens, that's the worst thing ever. In reality, it's not. Like, it's not the worst thing ever. It's a very vulnerable moment. It would probably be quite a embarrassing moment within yourself. Not to say you should be embarrassed, but you know what I mean. You can't avoid that feeling when something like that happens. So if that is the case, then yeah, Tao's not going to think any less of you. Tao's not going to think like, oh my God, this is too hard, let's break up. That's not Tao. No. So yeah, rest assured in that. It's funny. It's like, I don't have this experience, you know, I haven't walked this walk of life. So in a way, I am learning things as well watching this. It's very, I always feel bad saying it, but it's like, I'm very intrigued, but I don't want it to ever sound like I'm like, ooh, I'd love to study this. But you know what I mean? It's like, when you haven't been through it yourself and you see it in media and everything, media is like the perfect way to learn new things without making someone else uncomfortable by like asking questions and things like that, you know, because that's not okay. But you know what I mean? It's like, I have not met any trans people in my life. I've not got anyone in my life where I would have been able to ask things about. Not the kind of question, don't get me wrong, not the kind of questions, you know, that some people ask, but just like general life questions about like different experiences compared to being a cisgendered person. And so this is one of those areas where I'm like, I'm so happy that they are exploring this, because it's teaching me as well. It's showing me different things that I haven't had to think about in my life. Some struggles that I would not have immediately thought of when I saw Elle struggling, you know, because I haven't seen this before. And so I really like that they're showing this. And also, it's so nice seeing everyone be so vulnerable this season. I think that's been like my biggest takeaway. Like, people being vulnerable and being honest and being open and just talking about it. Like, yes, sometimes it can come across unrealistic, but it's one of those things that's unrealistic in the sense that I almost prefer that it is unrealistic, because this is how it fucking should be. People should feel comfortable to talk to their friends and talk to their partners about these things. It's unfortunate that a lot of times in real life people aren't, but that doesn't mean that that's not how it should be. So I love that Heartstopper just throws that out the window and says, look, yeah, they're young, but they're really good with communication, and they can actually speak about how they're feeling and know how they're feeling to communicate it, you know?
It's nearly midnight.
Yeah, exactly. To recharge.
Recharge by hugging his char.
I'm really glad you're back. Being without you is not fun.
I know.
Off being fun.
One day you're going to make friends with someone you actually enjoy being around.
The only person I care about is you.
I know, my darling, and that is sweet, but it is equally concerning.
We haven't spoken properly since Halloween, and now you're here to kiss me at midnight. I'm not here for that. I wanted to apologise for Halloween.
But what do you think
It's
happened?
been so toxic.
I don't want to be just an experiment to you, especially when you know you're the reason I realised I was bi in the first place.
Oof. She didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
Sorry, before we move on, bless. As soon as she said, especially because you know, I was like, my darling. Sometimes for some people, it's not that obvious. Sometimes for some people, they don't take the hints, especially when it seems that Imogen is struggling with her own identity and is struggling with her own journey. So we'll see. It could very well be that she does end up realizing that yes, she is straight, but this was something that she needed to explore to fully understand that side of herself, and now she knows. But the vibes that I'm getting, it is feeling very compet. It is feeling very much like she has convinced herself over the years that she likes men because that is like easier, whereas now it's got to the point where it's like, huh, wait a minute, maybe that isn't the case. Maybe it could still be, yeah, she could be bi. Like, we can't just immediately write that off, you know. That could definitely be it, but it seems as though she has been denying that side of herself. So this will be very intriguing to explore. I wonder if this is like a really eye-opening moment for Imogen where she's like, wait, this person likes me? Because I don't think she's realized that Sahar actually liked her. I think she's just thought that they were both like experimenting or something, and like, you know what I mean? I think now that she's like got full-on confirmation, it's gonna like click in her head that like, wait a minute, why do I feel like that's a nice thing? Why do I like that? You know? We'll see. Oh, I accidentally muted it. Oh, M. Oh god, I skipped too far. Everything's going wrong. Still muted. Oh, a friend? He's cute. Aww. Look at that little smile. Stop.
Don't worry. I'll kiss you. I just don't want to be alone at midnight.
Oh, bless you. Okay. Let's see where that goes then. I'm so glad that James went over to like make Isaac not feel alone as well. That's so cute. Whose house are we at though? Whose bed are you in? Oh my god, we never get to see her actually like smile. Oh, my little heart. That was like my favorite part of the episode. So yes, there we have season 3, episode 5 of Heartstopper, and that was another absolutely fantastic episode. So beautiful. So many different topics explored, so many different struggles explored, but that is my favorite part of this show. Dealing with many different walks of life, many different issues that young people may face. This show is like groundbreaking in terms of like how many things it can like successfully and what's the correct word, like accurately cover to like help younger people. Like, my god, so many people are going to have such great takeaways by watching this show, so really appreciate that. But yeah, like I said, so many different things. So should we go like character or couples at a time? Let's do that. So focusing on Charlie first, obviously we saw a family event, a big one time of the year where lots of people come together, so it's going to be a more stressful time. It's going to be a different day than a normal day, which is what I was talking about earlier when it came to his mum getting down on him about the not eating enough in the certain day and that being a concern. I think that there should have probably been guidance in the book as well to say like on like these family occasions and everything, it's probably not going to be like a normal day. It's not going to be that like you shouldn't have like such a big concern if like the process doesn't fully work on this day and it's not as efficient, like he's not having exactly what he's meant to have and everything, because there is added stresses, there is added hurdles for the day. And so the fact that he had half of it, oh my god, that is an amazing thing to achieve given such a high stress environment. So it's unfortunate that his mother did go down that route. One thing that we do need to keep in mind with his mum is it is all coming from a place of wanting him to be better, but that does not mean that she is not still doing wrong and doing damage in that sense. Like, she has her own stuff to work out. I think that this entire family could do with some therapy themselves. I think that she can sometimes, unfortunately, let her worry for him turn into frustration, turn into anger, take it out on him, and that's when we then have these explosions. And that's where this big communication problem is coming from, because she doesn't know how to regulate her emotions properly, and she takes him not listening to her, she takes him getting frustrated at her when she doesn't realize why he's frustrated at her. She takes it as like an attack, and suddenly goes on the defense and being like, oh, well, I just shouldn't try anyway. It's like, no, that's not the reaction. The reaction being that you are the parent, that you are the guardian, you are the one trying to help him, is to try and understand where he's coming from, see he's frustrated. What did I do to make him frustrated? Okay, maybe I should do that differently next time then. Maybe I should recognize what part of what I did caused this reaction, and then we go from there. But it just seems as though she's either not currently putting in the effort. Like, if we're being realistic, she might not be putting in the effort. It might be on her. But there could also be the thing where maybe she simply does not understand his thought process at all in that scenario, and she fully cannot get herself to realize why he's frustrated. So maybe that's something where we need some family therapy. Maybe we need some therapy where they're all sat down with the therapist at the same time, working through some things, because then that might actually breed some communication that works between the two of them. But it is something that we shall have to see in the future. It could be something that is solved in time as these issues do pop up and they are able to actually have a conversation and Charlie is honest with her about what she said or did that then made him upset. But that is something we'll have to see as time goes on. But yeah, moving away from Charlie, obviously we have Tori. God bless her. It's so hard to see someone struggling so much, especially when it comes to like being young with no friends, because fuck me, that is painful. And especially when it seems like she does have friends, but they're not friends. They're not friends that she actually connects with, because I've been there myself in school. You have friends for like the social aspect. You have friends because you don't want to be on your own, but they're not exactly people that you truly do care and love. I think that for a lot of people, when you leave school, that's when you really realize, one, what you value in friendships, and two, the friends that were just there because they were there. I think that a lot of people go through the same experience of like, you leave school and say you had like 6 friends, you may leave with 1. You may leave and conversations and connections with the other 5 just die out naturally because you're not actually that good of friends. It was just friends of circumstance. And so it seems like that's the situation Tori's in. She hasn't actually got anyone that she is close to, no one that she can actually be open and honest with. But she did see that guy at the party and there was definitely something there. So hopefully that could be a good friend. Hopefully that could be someone that she is able to connect with. I guess we'll see. But yeah, really worried about her only at the moment, only because it does seem as though she's struggling quite heavily. And I think Charlie seeking out a solution to his struggles has unfortunately put her into the position of thinking, right, well, if he's kind of like going through this, I don't want to bring up anything I'm struggling with because I don't want to make his process worse, you know, which like is not, you shouldn't have that concern at all. He loves and cares about you. He would want you to be open and honest with him as well, but it just does fucking suck. So I do hope that she is able to recognize how much Charlie seeking help has helped him and looks for it herself. But again, we shall see. Now, moving on, let's look at Tao and Elle. Really great discussions this episode, especially from, well, actually, yeah, from both of them. I was going to say from Elle's side, just with the, like, exploration of her identity and what that means for being in a relationship and how that is going to change aspects of the relationship from a heteronormative cisgendered couple, you know. So, really enjoyed that side of things, and also seeing Tao just so open and accepting and willing to, like, I don't want to say do the work, but you know what I mean when I say do the work. Like, he's not just thinking, oh, this is so annoying. It's like, tell me what you're comfortable with. We can go as slow, as steady as you want, and we will just get there when we get there, you know? Really nice to see, and it was nice also to see that Elle's friendships have extended to the point where she does actually have someone now who she can talk about her trans things with and not feel like that person won't understand, because they have been through a very similar walk of life. So yeah, really nice to see this episode. It was quite heartwarming to see that journey. In terms of other people, we didn't get much of it once again, but we did see that Tara is still struggling with the pressure aspect. And my god, the amount of instances that we've seen where like this pressure is so obviously so obviously being put on her. There we go. It's understandable. Like, I get it, my darling. That fucking sucks. That is horrendous. I don't know how I would personally be dealing with that. So God bless your heart. God bless your soul. Hopefully as time goes on, that will get easier. I think she does need to talk to Darcy about it, just because I think it's good to have that open door with your partner where like things you're struggling with are so like acceptable to talk about, you know, because Darcy's not going to sit there and go, oh my god, calm down, Tara, you know, like that's not their relationship. So yeah, hopefully she's honest with them, but yeah, we will see. Now, moving on, next up we have Imogen and Sahar. Oh, that is a complicated thing that does need to be unpacked at some point. Obviously, they have begun to have this like eye-opening interaction of Imogen being like, wait, I didn't know that. I didn't know that, like, you had feelings for me and that's how you realized that you were bi. And then them kissing, it's like, they do need to talk about it. We do need to unpack what's going on in Imogen's head and how she's feeling. But I'm glad that she is open to exploring things and exploring that side of herself. So yeah, hope we get to see more of that as the season goes on and see that journey for her. But yeah, once again, overall, just an absolutely beautiful episode exploring so many different topics that I really fucking appreciate. And I like how accurate the things that they're exploring as well. It's going to be very, very helpful for a lot of young people. But yes, with that said though, I believe I've covered everything I wanted to talk about, so let's have a look at some Patreon questions. Right, we have quite a few, but first up, what kind of effect do you think Charlie's mental illness and treatment have had on Nick during and after? I mean, it's been quite apparent that it's been hard for him. It's been quite apparent that it's been a struggle for him to try and live life without Charlie around, which, like, God bless his heart. I feel so bad for him. Like, it is one of those situations where it's like, it's not Charlie's fault at all, but then we do need to also focus on the fact that this is affecting Nick too, and it's allowed to affect Nick, and it's something that it doesn't matter what time in your life you're at. Like, don't get me wrong, it's going to be worse when you're young, because you truly feel powerless. Like, you don't know how to help him. It's all in his parents' hands and everything. I feel like when you're someone's partner, when you're older, you're a lot more the person that they're relying on and everything, and you're a lot more, I don't want to say in control, but you know what I mean when I say in control, compared to like his parents handling it, rather than like you being the partner of like your adult partner and like you're the one that they're going to and everything, you know what I mean? So I do really feel bad for him, but like I was saying, it is one of those things where no matter what time of life you're at, it's really fucking hard to see your partner go through something like that, because you want to help them, but you equally have to accept that it gets to a point where you can't help them. You physically do not have the ability to do it, and you got to let someone else do it. You got to let them go to someone who's specializing in whatever they're struggling with, and accept that that is what they need, and that at that point in time you cannot fulfill something that they are needing in that moment. And that's a really hard thing to accept, but it is a very important thing to accept when it comes to like mental health and everything, because you want what's best for your partner. It's so apparent that Nick wants what's best for his partner, and so this is really, even though it's been hard to see him struggling as well, it's also been nice to see, again, for representation-wise, someone going through that as well, and not just solely focus on what Charlie has been dealing with, because it is hard to be the other person as well. It really is. But moving on from that, next up, in Season 3, Episode 5, how do the conversations and moments shared between Nick and Charlie during the winter season reveal deeper layers of their characters? How do these interactions influence their relationships and the way they navigate challenges together? Okay, bit of a complex question. Let me think about that for a minute then. A big part of like their relationship and them two as a duo is that they are quite open and honest with each other. Even when it comes to like the deepest stuff, they are the ones that the other person will go to, which is really great to see. I mean, as you grow older and you get into like adult relationships and everything, once you kind of like depart from living with your parents and all of that, even though like a lot of the times for some issues, you do still go to your parents. Like, it is what it is. Like, my mum will always be my mum and I'll always go and talk to her, you know what I mean? But you do become a lot more reliant on your partner as that like everyday grounding for you. And so it's good to see that they already have that. They do already have that bond enough where they do feel okay to share things with each other. I mean, for people of their age to like already have that with each other, my god, you hit the jackpot. Like, well fucking done. But even with that, we do see the, for instance, with Nick, when he was like talking to Charlie going like, I really fucking missed you, it's like, even though they are honest and everything, there are times where they don't want to pressure the other person. They don't want to put on the other person and make them think that they have like done wrong, because Nick missed Charlie and Charlie felt like he might be a burden by bringing things up. Like we were having the discussion with Tori and Nick in the front room and everything. It's like they do still have those very human struggles of thinking that they don't want to bring the other person down by talking about things they've been struggling with. But once again, it does still really echo home how incredible their communication is, because even after everything, like Nick still at that moment felt comfortable telling Charlie that he really fucking missed him, and it was really hard. He didn't like Charlie not being around. And it's really important to like find that fine line between thinking that you're putting pressure on your partner, or thinking that you're being too much and like you shouldn't say things because, oh, what if they think it was their fault or something. It's a very fine line to walk that when you're thinking that way and yet also feeling comfortable enough to say it. And I do think that they found that very good balance of making sure that the other person's emotional needs are met, but like also focusing on themselves as well. They're just a very perfectly communicating couple. You know what I mean? It feels like it's a rarity even when it shouldn't be. But yes, next up, how do the events and interactions between Nick and Charlie, as well as their friends, highlight the challenges and growth they face in their relationships? Additionally, how do these experiences contribute to their personal development and understanding of each other? I feel like we've discussed a lot about like the specifics and everything, but just in terms of like an overall thing, it is really nice to see young people going through so many different experiences through so many different walks of life and like understanding different experiences, because this isn't like the typical experience for people. Not like most people are not in such diverse groups where they would like get to see so many different kinds of people. I feel like unfortunately a lot of people end up in the very generic, like, you tend to go after what you're used to, you know, because that's what you're comfortable with. And so I feel like a lot of people end up in friendships with people that are just very similar to them and their walk of life, you know. So it's really nice to see such a mixed group who are like slowly getting to learn so many different kinds of people that there are, because not only that, but also to have so many different people who are also very good at communication and able to like talk to each other and able to express how they're feeling in any given moment. It's creating some really beautiful people. Like, they are all so understanding of each other that it kind of makes you really jealous watching it, you know, because it's so rare to find your people that you can truly love and trust and be open with, that a sense of jealousy does come out when you're looking at this such like tight-knit group of people. And also, like, kind of branching out from the question but in a similar field, it's like, I do really appreciate just the so many different like types of people that we explore in this show. Like, we're dealing with Imogen and Sahar, where it seems like we're going down a compet route, and also someone who is a queer person who's had a crush on someone for ages and is dealing with the idea of them getting with other people, because that is such a queer experience. Like, you do have crushes on people that unfortunately will never like you, and even though it does seem as though we're going down a route of Sahar and Imogen perhaps liking each other, for a time Sahar did think that it was impossible, and I think so many queer people have been through that experience, you know? Speaking from like the perspective of a gay man, I know it's an extremely common thing falling for the straight boys, and then like having to have that realization of like, fuck, what am I doing? Like, they're never gonna like me. I'm just causing my own pain to myself, but I can't fucking help it, you know? And so I really appreciate that we're seeing so many different walks of life. Like, we've also got Elle going around the route of like trans issues, and then to get away from like sexuality and everything, we've even got Tao dealing with like the grief of his dad being gone and everything. We've got Charlie dealing with anorexia and OCD. We've got Nick in like the coming out scenario, you know? We're looking at Isaac dealing with asexuality, aromantic, you know? It's like so many different walks of life that it's such a beautiful mix of people that I just really fucking appreciate it, you know? We don't get many shows like Heartstopper, if any, so yeah. To link back to the question though, Heartstopper does do a very good job of like the story reflecting the struggles that people are going through and always having a resolution at the end that is accurate and is real to life. And I really appreciate that. It's not some like made up fantasy. It's not something where like you watch it and you think like, oh, things are so happy. It's like people do have struggles, and these are some struggles, but that doesn't mean that everything is negative. That doesn't mean that it's going to have a negative end. It's like, you can get through this. You can get to a better place. You just got to seek out what you need, you know? So yeah. Anyway, I feel like I rambled a lot with that question. So moving on, next up. How do you feel Charlie's parents handled the situation at Christmas with the extended relatives and their insensitive comments? Do you think they should have stepped in and said anything at any point when they realized that Charlie was uncomfortable or getting triggered? What about the conversation between Charlie and Jane in the kitchen before he left? Was that the right time to point out that he didn't eat all of his dinners? No, I think the one, when it comes to the like not eating dinners and everything, I've talked about it a lot, but to summarize, I think that it was a specific day with a lot of personal stress, a lot of things going on that wasn't just a typical sitting down at dinner eating with your family, so should have been given basically a bit of leeway in that regard and not had this like added pressure of his mum being like, oh, but you didn't do what you had to do. She said this is a concern. Like, you're just adding to the pile at that point, my darling. But to get back to the root of that question in terms of like the relatives and their insensitive comments, I said it earlier, they should have stepped in. They should have gone in, and even if they don't want to be like fully confrontational, be like, don't do that, just go and have a talk with them. They're family. They're one of your brothers, the uncle. And so go and talk to him, explain why what he said was bad, say that it's okay, you didn't know at the time, like this isn't me going, oh, you need to go and apologize and everything. It's just like, from this point onwards, understand where that went wrong, please respect it, and go from there, you know? Obviously, an apology would be lovely, but if it makes Charlie more uncomfortable to have someone come up to him and apologize and everything, especially when it feels like they don't actually understand, then definitely go down the route of just talking to them and being like, look, in the future, please speak about it in this way because it's not helpful. I know you didn't mean anything wrong, but XYZ, you know? I think that would have been an absolutely perfect solution, and I think that saying ignore it is basically, oh, toughen up and deal with it, you know? That's basically the same sentiment, and so don't like that, don't appreciate that, and they definitely should have said something. But yes, moving on, next up, what are your hopes for Tori going forward? Either what do you wish to see for her, or even just what you hope happens in the background. My big hope is that it doesn't happen in the background. I hope that we do actually get to see some more Tori, some more focus on Tori, and seeing a lot more of her struggles focused on, because she is definitely struggling. She's been struggling since day one. It's been pretty fucking obvious. And so I do hope that we do get to see her journey and see her seek out help for herself. I will say though, a big want of mine and a like hope is that we don't go down a romance route. I hope that looking at that guy at the party, that's gonna be a friendship route, maybe advancing to romance later, but like first looking for a friendship, looking for someone that she connect to that isn't romantic based, because we've seen it with Charlie that Nick was like very helpful for him with his struggles and everything, and Nick has been absolutely amazing. But I think it's dangerous to fall into this trap of saying we have these two people who have been struggling really badly with like their mental health. The way that they got through it was like very heavily influenced by the fact that they were in a relationship with someone that was so understanding, because I feel like once you go down that route, it comes across as very much like, oh, I need to seek out a relationship to then get better. You know what I mean? Like, that's not explicitly what they're saying, but you catch my drift. It's like, I would appreciate having an example where Tori just simply finds a friend that she can connect with a lot better, and then we go down that route and seeing how that can be beneficial as well. But to go straight into, oh yeah, but she had no friends or anything, and then she found this guy and they fell in love, and it was like the solution to her problems, and he helped her through it and everything. I'm like, I would like to see someone either go through something on their own or just go through something where this influence in their life is like a friendship and not just like a romance, because I appreciate that more than having this like one solution to something, you know. But yes, anyway, moving on. I think you may have mentioned it at some point, but your opinion could have changed. I'm curious to know if there's a particular scene in these last two episodes that has stuck out to you and been particularly heartbreaking. That's an intriguing question. I'll have to have a think about that, because there have been, I don't know if I can pick one if I'm being completely honest, only because there have been quite a few heartbreaking moments, especially last episode. My God. Last episode was just heartbreak after heartbreak, to be honest. I think the scenes themselves that like spoke to me the most were the scenes between Charlie talking to his parents and actually going to the mental health facility. That like gap where he was like still at school, like when he was in the art room, for example, you know, that like bit of time that we were seeing where he was struggling so much and wasn't able to get help until obviously they went down a private healthcare route. That I think that was the most heartbreaking for me, because all the other heartbreaking moments when it came to Charlie in that episode were heartbreaking in the sense of seeing it, but equally knowing that he was getting help, whereas that was just watching someone in so much pain, knowing that at that point they weren't getting any help. There was nothing that was currently helping them through it, and that fucking sucked. And so I would count those as like the most heartbreaking, but I don't want to say the most heartbreaking. You know what I mean? It's like, there was so many heartbreaking moments. And even this episode, like seeing that moment with Ellen Tao where she like had a really big reaction, and knowing that it was like such a deep core thing for her was really hard to see. And then also with Tori, seeing her so upset after Charlie left, after having the argument with his mum. It's like there have been so many heartbreaking moments these past two episodes that I don't want to say the one is more heartbreaking than the other, but something that particularly stung was definitely that like period of time before Charlie actually was able to seek out help. But yeah, with that said though, that was an absolutely fantastic episode. This season has been a knockout of the park. Like I said, really enjoying the mature topics this season. I think that it doesn't counteract the beauty of season 1 and 2, because we are literally seeing them grow up, and so it's gonna get more mature, you know. I really appreciate that we're covering a lot of different topics, because it's so important to show so many different walks of life and how so many people deal with certain issues that you may not have experienced yourself, and it kind of helps your own understanding, you know. And that is like my biggest takeaway from Heartstopper overall, is that it has been a beautiful teaching moment for me personally, and I would assume everyone else, but yes, anyway, with that said, thank you very much for watching. I've left a link down below to my Patreon where we find the early and uncut reactions to Heartstopper and all the other shows that I do. Also left a link to my Twitch, my Discord, and my socials, so be sure to follow them if you are interested. And yes, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.